Today we are going to start with our GI system, that is gastrointestinal system, the diseases of gastrointestinal system. In that we are going to cover gastritis, then ulcers, peptic ulcers, then typhoid ulcers, then colitis, ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel diseases, and if possible, we are going to cover the CA of stomach, CA intestine, CA rectum. Okay. So the important topics today, in that we are going to discuss about gastritis. Are you revising all the topics?
Yes, ma'am.
So last time we discussed about, I think, glomerulonephritis, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so gastritis. Today we are going to cover this gastritis. What is gastritis? It is inflammation of the
Stomach.
stomach. Inflammation of the mucous
Stomach.
membrane of the stomach.
Stomach.
What do you know about gastritis? Yes, other than this. Yes. What do you know about gastritis? So what is gastritis? Okay. So it is often caused by Helicobacter pylori, that is bacterial infection, then excessive drinking, that is alcohol, or smoking, excessive drinking or smoking, and prolonged NSAIDs. What is NSAIDs? Yes, what is NSAIDs? Long form? Anyone?
Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug.
Yes, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So
Anti-inflammatory drug.
because of prolonged use of these drugs, this mucosa, stomach mucosa, it is very delicate and it get damaged, okay, due to this prolonged use. Either it get damaged due to this particular bacterial infections, either it is due to that is surface reactant, that is it directly affects the surface, that is drinking alcohol or smoking, and also with the drugs, okay. So now gastritis. Now here you can look the healthy stomach, how this healthy stomach is looking, and how the gastritis, the stomach with inflammation. So here esophagus, okay. Then lower esophageal sphincter, here no there is no affection in this two. Then stomach, actual this stomach, this bag of stomach, there is affection, we can see here damaged skin stomach lining, that is it looks more reddish, gastric acid, okay. And here we can see the pyloric sphincter, okay, and duodenum. So this is the normal structure of the stomach, where this the parts morely get affected are the part mostly get affected are, still people are coming, okay. So this is what is this part we call it as? Yes, this part of stomach,
Fundus.
fundus. And this part,
Body.
body, greater curvature.
Greater curvature.
And this is lesser curvature.
Curvature.
This is lesser curvature. हॅलो हॅलो. हो काकू, माझं लेक्चर चालू आहे. मी एक 5 मिनिटात काम करते. So there is affection is more at this particular region, lesser curvature. Okay, the inflammation occurs here because of the contracting muscles which are more active in this part. Okay, so here this part get affected, which is, yes, which part do you know which part is acid producing and which part is non-acid producing? Yes, fundus. It is acid producing or non-acid producing?
Non-acid producing.
Non-acid producing. And this part?
Acid producing.
Acid producing. And this part? Greater curvature?
Acid producing.
Acid producing part. Okay. So what do you think that whether this ulcers may get formed, whether it is acid producing part or whether it is non-acid producing part?
Acid producing part.
Acid producing part नहीं.
Producing part. No, no, no. Always ulcers and inflammation always develop in non-acid producing part than the acid producing part. Okay. Okay. So gastritis, we will go forward with what is this? So gastritis is an inflammation of gastric mucosa. It is due to some irritants. Okay. Whether these are direct irritants or indirect irritants. These irritants may not cause direct effect on mucous surface, as it may be blood-borne and act on the wall which contain gastric glands. So these irritants may be blood-borne irritants, or these irritants may cause direct effect on the mucous membrane. Now what are these irritants? These irritants are surface irritants such as alcohol, hot food, corrosive poisons, spicy food. Hot means spicy food, okay? Spicy food, then surface irritants such as alcohol and corrosive poisons. Or it may be drugs which can cause direct effect. These are the direct surface irritants. And the second part is blood-borne irritants. They are like Streptococcus viridans and other bacteria like H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori. It has a very important role in case of gastric inflammation, gastric ulceration, or peptic ulceration. Okay. So in case of inflammation, this take very much lead part in this particular whole process. Okay. So irritants, surface irritants or blood-borne irritants. Surface irritants which causes direct effect, which affects the mucous membrane directly, and blood-borne irritants that they get traveled through the blood and causes the inflammation of the gastric mucosa. Then this gastritis is of two types, okay, acute and chronic. Acute gastritis and chronic gastritis. These are the two types of gastritis. Acute gastritis, there are two lesions of acute gastritis, hemorrhagic lesions and stress lesions. Acute gastritis related with two type of lesions, hemorrhagic lesions and stress lesions. These hemorrhagic lesions, they are related with tiny ulcers of few millimeter in diameter. Okay. So these are the tiny ulcers of few millimeter in diameter which are formed by digestion of mucous membrane. And these hemorrhagic lesions, they are usually multiple and affect all parts of the stomach. These hemorrhagic lesions, they are the tiny lesions, tiny ulcers get formed in these hemorrhagic lesions of few millimeter in diameter, and they affects all part of the stomach, that is fundus, in pylorus, then body of the stomach, fundus, pylorus, all these parts get affected with the hemorrhagic lesions. They occur mostly on the apex of the mucosal folds. All of you know the anatomy of stomach. How are the physiology of stomach? That is, there are mucosal folds present in the stomach, and these ulcers, they are present at the tip of this mucosal fold or apex mucosal folds. And the changes that occurs in these hemorrhagic lesions, they are always superficial. So these are the characteristics of hemorrhagic lesions: tiny ulcers, then associated with necrotic lesions, or the digestion of mucous membrane. Usually these ulcers, they are, or these lesions, they are multiple, spreading all over the stomach in every part. But this thing changes that occurs, that is inflammatory changes, they are always superficial, they are not deep. Hemorrhagic lesions, they are superficial lesions, and they are present in the acute gastritis. Okay, so acute gastritis is a transient mucosal inflammatory process, asymptomatic or cause variable degrees of. These are the clinical pathological features of acute gastritis, that is epigastric pain, nausea, and vomiting. In more severe cases, there is mucosal erosions, ulcerations, and hemorrhages. Okay, so acute gastritis, it is always related with transient mucosal process associated with epigastric pain, nausea, and vomiting. These are the common symptoms of gastritis, whether it is acute or chronic. Now, the stress ulcers, the hemorrhagic ulcers, they are superficial, but these are the ulcers. Okay, this mainly develops in shock. Okay, so stress ulcers, they are always develops in the shock, and these are deeper, causes hemorrhages and perforation. These stress ulcers, they are always develops in the shock. Which shock? It may be, which shock? Do you know any type?
Secondary shock.
Yes,
Secondary shock.
Primary shock or secondary shock.
primary shock, secondary shock. So, what are the names of this shock?
Hemo,
Yes, yes. Hemorrhagic shock,
hemorrhagic shock and
then
Hypovolemic shock.
hypovolemic shock, yes, right. Cardiogenic shock,
hypo,
Shock.
septicemic shock, septicemic shock, cardiogenic shock, hypovolemic shock, hemorrhagic shock, okay.
traumatic
Type-
shock,
Yes.
neurogenic shock.
Yes, yes. So these are all types of shock. So the stress ulcers mainly get developed in this type of shocks, and these are very deeper, causes hemorrhages and perforation. Now, etiology of this ulceration, that is acute gastritis. Okay, etiology of acute gastritis or etiology of gastritis in general. So we have discussed just now, that is surface irritants such as alcohol or acute fever, then drugs like aspirin or NSAIDs, then gas. So this causes inflammation of gastric mucosa. It becomes red and shows catarrhal changes. So etiology of this gastritis, they are superficial irritants. Mainly in 80% of cases, the cause is superficial irritants such as alcohol, and in case of acute fever, okay, as there is inflammation in acute fever, there will be release of prostaglandins like derivatives, and which will may gives rise to this inflammation of gastric mucosa. And many times the drugs like aspirin or NSAIDs may get taken by that particular patient to rid of this fever or body ache. So in that case also, it may cause ulcerations, inflammation of stomach. So gastric mucosa get inflamed, it become red and shows catarrhal changes. Now there is one more time, that is phlegmonous gastritis. It is caused by infection of stomach wall with streptococci with severe inflammation and necrosis. Okay, phlegmonous gastritis, it is the another type which is mainly of bacterial, the cause is bacteria, and the mainly streptococci. Now histologically, how this ulcerations, what are the changes that occurs with ulcers. So there are entry of many polymorphs, mononuclear cells. They get entered in that particular site. The surface epithelium get degenerated. It get detached from its surface and it get necrosed. So these are the histological changes that occurs at the level of, at the site of inflammation. Whenever inflammation, whenever there is inflammation, there is increase the blood flow in that particular site. The area become congested, area become red, there is entry of polymorphs and mononuclear cells, and there is degeneration of the surface epithelium, and it may get detaches and may get necrosed. Now, what is the pathogenesis of this gastritis? Now, this bacteria, main lead role is Helicobacter pylori. So this Helicobacter pylori produces urease. They secretes or they produces urease, which converts urea into ammonia. Urea get converted into ammonia, which creates the localized alkaline medium. Alkaline atmosphere get created at that site, which induces the inflammation. This alkaline atmosphere that induces the inflammation. H. pylori, it produces urease, which converts urea into ammonia, which creates the localized alkaline medium and which induces the inflammation. So this is the pathogenesis of this particular gastritis. So here, up till now, we discussed what is gastritis. Gastritis is nothing but the inflammation of this stomach mucosa. Mucosal surface get inflamed either by direct irritants or either by indirect irritants. Direct irritants are nothing but the direct material which directly get contacted with this stomach mucosa. So in that case, the direct irritants are the various food items. Okay.
Alcohol,
Yes,
hot
alcohol,
food.
smoke, then
NSAID,
yes, NSAIDs, drugs, poisons, then hot food or corrosive any things which get diluted. So these things may causes direct inflammation of stomach mucosa, or indirect irritants are nothing but the bacteria. That is Streptococcus
Bacteria.
viridis or H. pylori.
H. pylori.
Yes, that is Helicobacter pylori. So, what is the role of this particular bacteria? They produces urease and they converts urea into ammonia, which creates this. Whenever ammonia get formed in that particular region, there is production of alkaline atmosphere. This alkaline atmosphere induces inflammation. So, this is the pathogenesis of gastritis. Okay. Now, this is in this pathogenesis we can see here in this picture this gastric fluid. This is the mucosal layer and these are the epithelial cells. Okay, these are the epithelial cells. These are the direct irritants. It may be bacteria. Okay, Helicobacter bacteria. So it produces urease, no, neutralizes the gastric acid. So urea get converted into ammonia. Okay, here the urea get converted into ammonia, and this will neutralizes the gastric acid and creates the alkaline atmosphere. Okay, here this is first picture. This is second. These are the hydrogen ions. So urea get combined with water. Then here it get converted into ammonia with carbon dioxide. It produces alkaline atmosphere. Okay, this particular Helicobacter pylori. So mucosal, it creates the mucosal damage. This Helicobacter pylori, as there is alkaline atmosphere, there is more and more colonization of this particular bacteria. Entry of this bacteria increased, and there will be degenerative changes, necrotic changes. For firstly, there is degenerative changes, and then there is necrosis. So here the mucosal damage occurs by bacterial this secretions, that is urease. They secretes urease. Okay. So here there is inflammation, and somehow it is given that mucosal cell death. the mucosal cell may get damaged permanently. Okay, so these are the this is chemotaxis, leukocytic chemotaxis. All these mononuclear cells and polymorphs, they enters over there and take part in the inflammation. So this is the picture of pathogenesis of gastritis. Okay, now chronic gastritis. Chronic gastritis. Chronic gastritis is defined as the presence of chronic mucosal inflammatory changes leading eventually to mucosal atrophy and intestinal metaplasia. So in chronic gastritis, the mucosal atrophy is associated with metaplasia, intestinal metaplasia, usually in absence of erosions. Okay, there is absence of erosions. Now, etiology of chronic infections, it is the causes H. pylori and immunogenic. The causes immunogenic or it may be of H. pylori. So, immunogenic in association with pernicious anemia. All of you know what is the pathogenesis of pernicious anemia. So, chronic gastritis. Okay. Before that, we just revise our this particular things. Acute gastritis. So acute gastritis, we discussed about two lesions, hemorrhagic lesions and stress lesions. Hemorrhagic lesions, they are tiny ulcers of few millimeter in diameter, which are formed by digestion of mucous membrane. Usually they are multiple and usually they creates the superficial lesions and usually occurs mostly on the tip of the mucosal folds. Okay. So these are hemorrhagic lesions. Then we discussed about stress lesions. Stress lesions, they are usually associated with shock and these are deep, causing hemorrhages and perforations. Okay, then we discussed about the etiology of this gastritis, surface irritants, alcohol, acute fever. Always this acute gastritis precedes after any viral infection, viral fever. Any fever, after any fever, there is gastritis. It may be due to that particular bacteria or viruses. So the other causes are drugs, direct irritants, drugs like aspirin, NSAIDs, gastric mucosa get inflamed, it become red, that is congested due to increased blood flow and shows catarrhal changes. And the second second type of this particular acute thing is phlegmonous gastritis, that is mainly due to bacteria, that is streptococci, with severe inflammation and necrosis. Okay. Then we discussed about the histological changes, that is entry of polymorphs, mononuclear cells. There is chemotaxis occurs over there and surface epithelium get degenerated, it get detached and then get necrosed. And what is the pathogenesis that we discussed about? That is H. pylori. They produces urease, which converts urea into ammonia, which creates the localized alkaline atmosphere, which induces the inflammation. Okay. So inflammation will give rise to later on degenerative changes and then necrotic changes. So here we see the pathogenesis of this particular acute gastritis. Then chronic gastritis. Chronic gastritis, here we have, there are two types of chronic gastritis. Autoimmune associated gastritis. Autoimmune associated gastritis. The 5% of chronic gastritis is of this type. Okay, autoimmune associated gastritis. It is also called as type A. It is also called as type A gastritis. Here it is not written, but you can add this point here, autoimmune associated gastritis type A. Okay. Now 5% of chronic gastritis is of this type. Etiology, chronic inflammation or injury occurs in case of chronic alcoholism, then in case of pernicious anemia and pellagra. What is pellagra? It is nothing but niacin deficiency.
Vitamin
Okay.
deficiency.
Niacin deficiency. Niacin, which vitamin?
Vitamin 5.
Hmm?
B5.
Vitamin 3.
B5.
Huh?
B5 vitamin.
B.
Vitamin B3.
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 Vitamin B3.
B3, na?
Yes, ma'am.
B3 vitamin.
B3, pellagra, niacin deficiency.
Telegram.
Niacin,
Yes.
okay? So here this niacin, whenever this deficiency occurs, it gives rise to skin lesions and CNS lesion like confusion. Brain, there is confusion of thoughts can occur, CNS lesions because of this niacin deficiency and skin lesions, okay? So these two lesions, they are characteristic with niacin deficiency. Okay, so chronic inflammation, it occurs in case of chronic alcoholism, the patients which are on alcohol for many years. Then in case of pernicious anemia, again pernicious anemia, it is related with autoimmune damage of the parietal cells. Parietal cells get destructed, they get damaged, and there will be a chlorhydria. Okay. Identified histologically by infiltration of inflammatory cells, that is lymphocytes, plasma cells, and very few neutrophils. So histologically, this chronic gastritis, this lesion, they are histologically, we can identify them by infiltration of inflammatory cells, that is lymphocytes. Here there is no, polymorphs, the amount of polymorphs is very much less, that is neutrophils, they are very much less in case of chronic gastritis. But here this particular polymorphs, they are more, we can see in this acute lesions, acute gastritis. Okay, either they are hemorrhagic lesions or stress lesions. Now this amount of lymphocytes, plasma cells are much more in case of chronic gastritis than this neutrophils, that is polymorphs. Okay. The distribution of inflammation may be patchy. In case of chronic gastritis, the distribution of inflammation may be patchy. Initially, they involves the superficial part and then glandular portion of the gastric mucosa. So, superficial and glandular portion both may get affected. Okay. Now, phases of chronic gastritis. There are three phases of chronic gastritis. Superficial gastritis, that is inflammatory changes are limited to lamina propria of surface mucosa with edema and cellular infiltrates separating intact gastric glands. So superficial gastritis, okay? Now the time is running out. Again, I will call this meeting after 5 minutes, okay? After ending this meeting, I can again call this meeting. So superficial gastritis, the inflammatory changes are limited to lamina propria of surface mucosa. It is limited with this particular lesions. The congestion is less, we can see in the superficial gastritis, but there is edema, more edema with cellular infiltration, okay, which separates the intact gastric glands. Although congestion is less, edema is more in this particular superficial gastritis. The second type is atrophic gastritis. Here the inflammatory infiltrates extends deeper into the mucosa. In atrophic gastritis, the inflammatory lesions, they extends deeper to the mucosa up to the submucosa with progressive destruction of gland. Here in first phase, there is only detachment of the gastric glands, but in second phase, there is destruction of this particular glands, we can see. And the final stage is gastric atrophy. Okay, the final stage is of gastric atrophy. All the glandular structures are lost and there is a paucity of inflammatory infiltrate. So the inflammation or inflammatory infiltrate is also very much less in amount with all destruction of these glandular structures. In pernicious anemia, type A associated with Achillea gastrica, that is because of destruction of these parietal cells. This in case of pernicious anemia, there is Achillea gastrica, that is there is deficiency of this gastrin, deficiency of this gastrin, this parietal parietal cells could not secrete. Okay. Now, microscopic changes. The mucous membrane is atrophic with very few mucous glands infiltrated with leukocytes and lymphoid aggregations in the submucosa. Okay, the mucous membrane it become atrophic with very few mucous gland infiltrated with leukocytes and lymphoid aggregates in the submucosa. So, microscopically also, these lesions they get extended up to the submucosa. The mucosa of pylorus and the fundus are transformed. In the very important thing that lesions. What are the changes that occurs in microscopic changes occurs in case of chronic gastritis, that is type A. We are discussing about type A. So the mucosa of pylorus and the fundus are transformed into that of intestinal type due to metaplasia, and fundy glands may undergo change like of that of pyloric glands. So fundy glands may get change. They are looking like pyloric glands. The mucosa of pylorus and fundus they get transferred into the intestinal type, that is more rugosed. Okay, this type is more rugose due to metaplasia. So more rugae, we can see more folds like intestinal type. So mucosa of pylorus and fundus get transferred into that of intestinal type because of metaplasia, and fundy glands may undergo change that of like pyloric glands. So I'm ending this meeting. Now just in few minutes, I'm again going to call meeting. Okay.